And so because I was not okay mentally, that poured into my spiritual life. And a lot of persons could not pick it up because I became so skilled at
At
masking
masking
it.
it, right?
Welcome back to the Christ Talk podcast, the podcast where we have real conversations that will keep you grounded in Him. I'm your host, Gerard, and I'm here joined by a very special guest, Mr. Aldino Campbell.
Hello, hello everyone.
Yes. We normally start off our podcast is with prayer. We like to
Sure.
open in prayer.
Eternal and loving Father, thank you for being a present help in a time of storm. Thank you for being here for us. Thank you for being our provider. Thank you for being the I am that I am. Thank you for being so thoughtful even when we're not thinking about you, Lord. Lord, as we're about to embark on this podcast, Lord, I pray that you will be center of it, mighty God. I pray that we will not speak but you through us, mighty God. I pray that this podcast will edify somebody in whichever area they are lacking or in need of it, Lord. I pray that you bless each and everyone that will be listening to this podcast in a special way. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Hey, so we are actually talking about something that I am very passionate about, mental health, especially in the Christian context, which I think is not spoken about enough.
No, it's not.
Yeah. We would have done a previous episode earlier on in the podcast where we had a panel with other Christian men. We were speaking about men's mental health and how it is perceived by the church
Right.
and society.
Mm-hmm.
And today we're gonna be focusing on something a bit similar.
Okay, great.
Right. So before I get started, I just want to ask one question.
Sure.
What are you doing?
I am, I'm a bit nervous in the moment because, I've done a lot of interviews, but I've never done a podcast, so I'm trying my best not to, me so.
Yeah.
But overall, I am doing well. I would have done a surgery 2 days ago, and I am recovering well, and yeah, overall, I'm in a good space. Mentally, I'm
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. Alright. You want to give your viewers a little background about who you
Sure.
are?
All right, so I'm Aldino Campbell, soldier, Christian, and a mental health advocate. And along with those accolades or titles, I am really just a simple guy. I am very jovial and a pretty fun guy. I really do a lot of traveling and take pictures along the way, and yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Alright. Sounds good. So the first question I want to ask in regards to mental health. So you would have mentioned that you are in the military.
Right.
So when the uniform comes off and it's just you alone with your thoughts, what is that like?
All right. So when I'm not Private Campbell or ORD Campbell, what I like to do is first get some rest because the workload can be strenuous.
Yeah.
So me getting rest is really rejuvenating my brain, my whole body, the whole works.
Yeah.
After that, I try to see in that limited time space what I can do for me, As I said earlier, I really love nature, I enjoy nature. So either I try to go to the beach, I try to go to a river, or just go on the road just to, relaxation of the mind. Then with that spare time, if I do have any, I see what I can do more to, further my impact, my outreach,
Yeah.
Right.
Right. In terms of the church and mental health, you think there is I would have mentioned it that there are not enough conversations surrounding mental health because it's still a taboo topic.
Right.
Yeah? It's still a taboo topic in the world, more so the church. Why do you think that is?
All right. So I believe I'm from a congregation that believes, the spirit of depression. And I feel like a lot of times we as a church we consider it to be something that's bad.
Mm.
I mean, we're human beings.
Mhm.
We are going to come under things that humans,
Yeah,
experience.
yeah.
And depression and mental health overall is no different.
Mhm.
And I feel like we try to use spiritual tools or mechanism to fix it, when a lot of times a simple talk, a
Mhm.
simple conversation or a simple word of encouragement
Yeah,
would have been suffice in the situation.
yeah.
So I feel like a lot of times we in the church we use, the my mother used to say the Lord give us faith and he also gives us wisdom. A
Mhm.
lot of times we can use wisdom over the faith, if you understand what I'm trying to
Mhm.
say. So a lot of times when we know we can implement, something else or try use another approach to the situation. I feel like that's where we're lacking as a church.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think especially because the narrative men should be,
Yeah.
naturally men are the
Right.
leaders.
Right.
So when men are vulnerable to society, they are appeared as being soft.
Soft.
But the reality is we are humans and men go through, I think men have it way harder than females in terms of dealing with emotions. We don't have enough outlets that we can talk about our problems without feeling judged.
This is me while you're
Yeah.
talking, reflecting on things that I've actually been through. Because, as you know, I am a mental health advocate. I've had my times, obviously, when I was not 100%.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, the reason why I didn't try to find somebody to vent to is because there is not really much person to vent to.
Mhm.
And I mean, there are tons of people out there in the church, in my church, but
Yeah.
you cannot vent to everybody. That's one. Two, you have to vent to somebody that you know will pour into you the necessary things that you are going to need in that situation.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of persons out there that are as understanding and know how to, help somebody in that
Yeah.
position. So a lot of times you are just there with your thoughts, the burdens that you're carrying with no help.
Yeah.
And as I said, I was really reminiscing on my situation because I've been through it.
Mhm.
I've been through it, so I can actually help persons who are currently going through it to overcome it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where it is.
Yeah. I think why I'm so passionate about mental health. I remember there were days when I was not okay mentally.
Mhm.
And so because I was not okay mentally, that poured into my spiritual life. And a lot of persons could not pick it up because I became so skilled at
At
masking
masking
it.
it, right.
Yeah.
And y- you are not the only one. As I said,
Mhm.
I've had my share. I remember, I think I was around 17, 18, fairly new in the church. Well, my current church,
Yeah.
because I've grown up all my life an Adventist, and
Okay.
then I sought out a new church when I was in grade 11 thereabout.
Mhm.
So here I am, new Christian, wanting to be closer to God, wanting to have a closer relationship with God. But yet still, there is the reality of life, because we're still flesh and blood. We're still going to be
Yeah.
faced with things that the humans, or we as humans, we face.
Mhm.
And here I am, 17, 18, thereabout, feeling all alone, burdened by, parents want this, church people expecting this, family expecting this, friends out there doing whatever they want to do. And, there is going to come a time where all these different um, factors are pressuring you, and then you fall into a state of, depression.
Yeah.
And that was me around that time. Like I'm a very ambitious person, and when I was in high school, I wanted to be so much things. I wanted to be a music teacher, RE teacher. I wanted to be I don't remember the type of doctor, but I wanted to venture into the medical field as well. And then all of this, it really wasn't making sense.
Yeah.
And then I was already facing pressures, we're doing CXC,
Yeah.
trying to figure out what to do, hormones out there acting up as well. So I was just, trying to, you know, just manage everything in one, and not everybody is strong enough, you know,
Yeah.
trying to balance church, relationship with the family, um, friends, and even with yourself,
Yeah.
And I was I felt really pressured. I felt like, this was it, like, but I don't really want to take up a lot of your time,
Go
but
ahead.
I was just there lost. Feel like I was, drifting. Thing wasn't going in the direction I wanted it to go. And I felt like I didn't have any control over what I really wanted.
Yeah.
And it was really pressuring. It was really, burdensome
Yeah.
to explain it. And at that time, my my Christian walk with God, it started to crumble. All that work that I put into the relationship that I had with God at the time started to fall apart. And, in that time, I was really, I was kind of carefree at the time. I was like, you know what? I'm trying to steer this boat. This boat is not going in the direction I want it to go. So I'm just going to, So I saw myself going to places that I never thought that I was going, or I would have gone to.
Yeah.
I see myself doing things like I was unrecognizable at the time. And then because I am not in a state where I can just say, hey, this is not you. My mind was already, scattered.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like that's one of the things that the devil does, He attacks your mind because without your mind, you cannot recollect or, regroup to say, hey, come snap out of it. When your mind is already at a loss, everything else that, there's an order in which that you need to come back or recollect yourself to go back on that path that you would have intentionally had for yourself.
Yeah.
And if your mind already, out of the game, eliminated out of the game, it's very hard for you to come back on that path or that trajectory that you need to be on. So I feel like that's one of the things that he does. He really attacks the mind so that when you're ready to start fight back, there is nothing, that you can really do in that time.
Yeah.
But in that space and time, I really I really started to pray, It was not consistent as it was or used to be, but I started praying. And then I had some friends. I want to specifically big up Michael. Michael Asphalt, bro, you are a true friend. He was one of those persons who always in my corner to say, yo, Dino, say, you would have, this is who you are in Christ. And even though you would have faltered, you have stepped away, you have, stumbled, you can still find your way back. And we had a group, I believe it was called, I don't remember the name, but it was a group of us who used to pray. We used to start from 10 and then it moved to 11 and then we'd pray all night. And I remember coming on to some of those meetings and then we just come off back. Like that was, as I told you, the devil attacks your mind first.
Yeah.
So without your mind being a stable place, you cannot really be on that, path that you were set on.
Yeah.
And I remember Michael used to call me, text me, check up on me, say, "Yo, bro, how are you doing? Still I pray for you. Still, you know, at this time I was there, saying, all right, I have to do this one step at a time, you know. And I remember it got so bad where I was really questioning God because I've gotten to a state where it's, as I said, I was unrecognizable. My mental health gone down the drain. I'm just out here living. I'm gonna say, like, God, oh, or like, how do you allow this to happen to me? Like, I've done, I've done what I needed to do. I'm not a perfect Christian. I've never claimed to be a perfect Christian, but I've done what I can do for you. So how is it that we've gotten to this space? And I was
Yeah.
there, like I've cried many nights. I've cried in and I've cried out. Like I remember crying myself to sleep. Like when people say, "Oh, them cry themselves, God in bed," me
Yeah.
ball on my bed in
Yeah.
a temper, cause I say, bro, like what is really happening to me? And one day, while I was crying and praying, I remember I don't know how me under the bed I pray, but I was under the bed, and a still voice said to me, if you don't go through this, how are you going to be able to help others who are going to go through this? How are you going to effectively help or give advice to those who are going to go through this to tell them, hey, I've been through this before and I've overcome, and this is how you can do it. So I thank God, because a lot of times we feel like victory doesn't come through pain and suffering. I thank God for what He brought me through, because if I didn't go through all of that, I couldn't be the advocate that I am today. And I couldn't, like a lot of persons always come to me with their issues. I mean, I always say, like, bro, me not have the perfect life. Why you come to me? Like, why not seek professional help? But the Lord knew what He was doing when He would have sent me down that path when I wanted to go the nice way, the nice, pretty way. God said, no, sir. There are going to be a set of people who would look up to you for advice, and you cannot advise them. You cannot go to a doctor, or you cannot expect that a doctor will give you the proper services that you went there for if you didn't go to school, right? So if you never go through the struggles where you would have been mentally broken, you would have been, your mind is like non-existent. You find yourself in places that you weren't expecting you yourself to be in. How are you going to encourage those people who are going through the situation, to get them back on their path that they need to be on? So I thank God for bringing me through that phase of my life. I have this thing where I said I really don't regret going through anything that's bad, because it's always a lesson for somebody else. So yeah, I try to live by that mantra and living as we go by.
Yeah, that's very deep, especially since you touched on the mind.
Right.
Because I think once the enemy infests our mind, that is how he's going to,
Right. Because the mind is really the heart,
Yeah.
and with your heart is what you use to serve God. So if your mind is already corrupted or infested by the adversary, what else there that you can do, Yeah.
And I think we really have to be, what word should I use now? We really have to be mindful of what we are feeding our
Yeah.
minds on.
Trust.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I'm going to give you an example. Recently, I I am a music person, so I really listen to music that I like, But from the starting of the year, I told my friends, and I told myself, I made a promise to myself that I'm going to limit the amount of other genres that I listen to because I love reggae. But I realized that, you see, with music influences the mind. And with your mind is how you behave, how you act.
Yeah.
And if you have something that's influencing your mind on how you should behave, what you're putting into your mind is how you're going to behave. So I've been on a journey to listen gospel music, and trust me, you hear people say them wake up, pray, and them day go good. Trust, it's a proven fact. I pledge myself that I'm going to listen some gospel song, have a little service with myself, and then go about my day. And trust me, as I told you, my life has been at peace. And it's about not allowing your mind to be overcrowded with things that are not of substance, negative things.
Yeah.
And just pouring into yourself positive, speak over yourself, because that's another thing too. I was going to touch on it, but I'm sure you might have that question further down the line where self-esteem is concerned. But speak over yourself positive things. In the in the Bible it says, your mouth has the power to has death and life in the power of your tongue.
Yeah.
And I've proven that as well. But that's a story for our next day. But always ensure that you speak positive things over your life, pray over your life. What you need to declare it in the atmosphere. And trust me, when you do that, you'll see the work of God.
Yes, definitely. Because I think sometimes the enemy is very sinister.
Mm-hmm.
So as you would have mentioned that we should speak over ourselves.
Right.
He's not going to come and tell us the truth.
Mm-mm.
It's always lies. So you have to always counteract what he's coming to you with. Because he's very strategic.
He knows what your weaknesses are.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that was really beating me. I wasn't the most confident person growing up. As I mentioned earlier, I'm from humble beginnings, so a lot of things that others would want or would have had, I never had the pleasure of having it. I had what I needed. And around that age group or that time, you are going to want, there's a standard, there is this unspoken standard that you need to be at. And I didn't think that I was there. And I always feel like, because I'm not at this place, I'm not, my self-esteem was a mess. Let's just put it simple like that. My self-esteem was a mess. And one thing I learned from that situation was to believe in myself. Believe in myself and trust me. Because as I said, my self-esteem was low. And I didn't think that I deserved things that was meant for me. God had blessed me with some stuff, but I in myself didn't think, hey, boy, and I'm gonna deserve that. I remember one time when I was this is actually a testimony, when I stopped working at a call center in St. Anne, and I applied for a job that I wasn't even qualified for. At that time I said, boy, say I know for me this though. I know for me this, because me not qualify for this. They were asking for first degree. I didn't have that at the time. And I said, all right, I'm going to pray for this. And even though you're praying for it, you know that the devil always plant doubt in your mind. And I said, all right, look here, I went to church on Sunday, and I say, if you're going to pray for something and you're going to doubt it, you're not going to get it. You have to believe in what you're praying for. And I did 2 years. My tenure there was short. I did 2 years there in the position, left, and I joined the army. I said all of that to say your mind is a powerful thing. If you in your mind is already defeated, whatever you're trying to accomplish has been defeated before it. The war is over before it's even started,
Yeah.
Anything that you put your mind to, believe, trust God, speak over it, and watch it manifest. Put your mind to it, pray over it, manifest it, and watch it come to life.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. There's this term they use now on the media called it delusional. So, but I think sometimes I think when you get to understand who you are in Christ, it it really defeats all of those.
Stereotypical or the labels that they put on it.
Yeah.
Call yourself delusional because you will get that thing. So you're going to be the Lulu until you get that thing. Trust.
Yes. And I think ensuring that we are okay mentally is so important. Because I've always heard the term that life is spiritual, and I really believe that. So if we're not okay mentally, well, it's going to affect everything.
First, as I said, everything that you do is really with your mind. And if your mind is in disarray, nothing that you want to accomplish or nothing that you are, anything that you have to do, it will not go the way that you want it or expect it to be, because your mind is not in the place for it to come to fruition. With your mind, you serve God. For you to serve God, your mind has to be at a place where not even the devil himself can plant doubt in your mind. Mental health is something that is so broad that it's sometimes unexplainable. But what I've learned is that the smallest things that you can do, the smallest actions that you can do, I've learned that the smallest word, just say, touch yourself, I can do it. Even as small as that, I can do it.
Yeah.
You know how powerful that is for somebody who doubt has already overtaken their mind.
Yeah.
I can do it. They don't do it. They haven't done it as yet, But they say to themselves, I can do it. I can overcome whatever situation that I'm currently in. Speaking to your mind, speaking to yourself, speaking over yourself that yes, I can do it. Boy, I I remember back in training, when I decided to join the army, and I went into training. Before I even got into training, that is, I went to all right. So normally they do a long process that you have to do, like different things that they send you to do, and then on the day that you're supposed to go into training, everybody just come with whatever they have, and then they just ship you off. On the day that I was told to come in, I was told that I was on the reserve list, meaning that if anybody followed for whatever reason, I would be next in line to replace that person. And me, mentally, I was not ready for basic training. I was not ready because I knew that I was going into training the day when I came to go into training. I thought that it was just another process that we come and, and they sent me home. I called my sister and I said, hey, them send me home, and them say, if I come back tomorrow for the same thing, for the same unsure thing, or, wait until the next intake is going up, knowing that I will be there. And she said, if I go on back the Sunday, I said, boy, I don't know about that, because I had this big old luggage at jaw back at me. Me never shine my head yet, thank God. But I was there with the heavy load. And then I called Julie. Big up you, Julie. I called Julie and she said, listen to me. You've prayed for this. God has given you your desire. If them say for go tomorrow, go tomorrow. And you see the day when I went there the Saturday. I brought my phone, seeing that I never had any intentions to go into training.
Mm-hmm.
I said the Sunday morning that I was going, I said, all right, God. Me now plan to jar that suitcase back at me again, you know. So this are the last jar me a jar. So I say, I left my phone and I set out, say, all right, I told them I'm going to training. I went into training that Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And the point where I was getting, you see, the training, army training, is no easy feat. You might hear people say, oh, soldier training hard and something. Bro, you see, the mental space that you go into training with, or
Mm-hmm.
how you go into training mentally,
Mm-hmm.
is how you come out. So if you went in there defeated, you're not going to make it. I'm telling you that. No matter how strong you are physically, no matter how strong you are, you are not going to make it. They are going to break down your mind as small as can be, break down your mentality, I'm telling you, they're going to break it and rebuild it. And if you're not strong enough mentally, you're not going to make it. I'm not even going to say much about the training, you know, but you see, your mind determines how far you will go in whatever aspect you want to think. Your mind determines how far you're going to go. A lot of times, old people say your attitude determines your altitude. You see, your mindset determines how far you will go. You see, if you put your mind that, hey, I'm going to go through this and I'm going to be victorious, trust me, there is no power from hell that can stop you.
Mm-hmm.
I trained in Fenton, about 20 minutes from my house. I could have just jumped over the wall and get a car to my house. That's how near I was to my house. You see, if I wasn't mentally strong, of course, me think both it got me hard. I will if time I say, all right, you know, say, my good bed there, so me not share with nobody. Anytime ready to eat, me can get no food. Me I wake up 7, sometime 8 o'clock. And me there are some people that wake me up 4, 3 o'clock to come. You see me?
Yeah.
My mind underwent a transformation during that training. And I thank them for it because now I can help people not only in mental health but also in other aspects of their lives, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I really thank the JDF and the training team in Money for all that they would have done, you know, to make us mentally and emotionally strong.
Yeah. I want to touch on a little bit on your training.
Okay.
So you think mentally
Mhm.
in that time when you said your mind was going through
Mhm.
a restructuring
Mhm.
process basically.
Mhm.
You think it made it harder for you to be vulnerable?
Yes. Why? We are trained to be emotional, emotionless. We are trained to be emotionally hard. And for me, being trained, you know, don't smile too much, don't show no emotions, you know. You're going on the road, you have to be serious. You have to be, you know, looked
Mm-hmm.
at and respected, you know. I I I found that very hard to, because as I said, I'm this jovial person. Like I'm a full clown when I'm around people I'm comfortable with. So to adapt to that was really, really hard.
Yeah.
And you know, the training itself was already strenuous on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And now to be told that, hey, you know, this is the new order and you have to, you know, go by it. There is a standard that you need to, you
Mm-hmm.
know, follow. that would have put my whole thinking, my whole well-being at a complete disarray again. But with the training, they don't just break your mind and leave it. They restructure it in a way where you expect things to happen, you expect disappointments to happen. Like nothing really phases you because you would have already gotten that mental toughness, that strength in your mentality, where no matter what disappointment or things that doesn't go your way happen, you still can move on and say, all right, we still have this goal to achieve. Even though I tried this way and it didn't work out, I'm going to try doing it this way and see how the result will be, if it's going to be a better one. So yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting though, because I've never really spoken to a soldier about the training experience. So that the story was pretty
Yeah, man, training can be
interesting.
fun, but
Yeah,
it has its time.
yeah. You think in those moments though, how did you felt like the training impacted your walk with God in any form of way?
Absolutely. Imagine imagine being around people with different spirits, different backgrounds. I'm being told to be this type of person. It did, when I got out of training, being locked away from civilization for so long, you're going to come out and want to try other stuff. And I wanted to try other stuff,
Yeah.
But one thing I've always told my friends, it's not the church that I go to. It's not the pastor that pastors me at my church. It's my relationship with God. You see, if I didn't know God for myself, I probably would have succumbed to all the nice things that was so enticing in that time, and still be out there partying, drinking, doing just like every other soldier. But I remember the relationship that I have with God, and I remember how the encounters that I've had, and those were the factors who actually held on to me spiritually to say, hey, out there some might look fun, the road nice, the life out there look, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there is still a heavenly price to gain, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm not, as I said, I've never claimed to be a perfect Christian. I'm not, I've faltered. I've done stuff that I shouldn't have. But the thing about it is the grace of God, how wonderful it is that you can brush off and come back to Him and He's there waiting.
Yeah.
A lot of times I wonder about it and I say, like, how is it that somebody can love us so much that no matter how him tell us, hey, don't do this, and if I do this, this is going to be the outcome, and we still go do it because we're curious beings.
Yeah.
And we experience the things that he said, all right, this is going to happen, and we experience it, and it's all right. Even though me tell you, you're not going to do it, you're going to do it same way, come back to me, like, brush you off and make you brand new. I still ponder to this day, like, how can a man love us so much? But those are questions we'll have to ask in heaven.
Yeah. So there is also a stigma on therapy. People feel as if you say that you're seeking therapy, first thing they say that you're going mad. What's your view on therapy?
Therapy is not for persons who are experiencing mental health illnesses, or going mad, as they would label it as. A simple experience, a simple traumatic experience at therapy does wonders.
Yeah.
I've had the chance or the opportunity to speak with therapists, not for my own situation, but and the benefits from just venting whatever issue. A lot of times you vent, and you didn't even realize that a lot of things that you're seeing has been stuff in your past that
Yeah.
has been holding back your growth, you know.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be somebody who you pay to see. You know, you don't have to, you know, therapy is just you venting, being vulnerable,
Yeah.
seeing the things that, you know, are going wrong and talk about it. Because therapy is literally talking.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
literally
Yes.
talking, like just like this is
Yes. It
therapeutic,
is. It is.
you know.
Yeah.
So it we Jamaicans we label everything that is good for us, you know, as bad. And you say, hey, yeah, you know, nobody know my business. Vent yourself, you know. And there are so many ways that you can actually undergo therapy. Even Alexa, the AI system, you can vent to that. The other day, I see somebody have a full conversation with their phone,
Yes. Yes.
you know. So it doesn't have to be somebody physically that you go to and tell your problems. You can actually, at the comfort of your home, so
Yeah.
vent, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of us in society, the reason why we are so upset, we are so angry, is because we are built up with emotions and different situations that we are still holding on to. So as simple things that you know, for example, me a pass you and me maybe pass you too close, you're ready to fight. You know, simple therapy can resolve all of that.
Yeah.
So nothing is wrong with therapy. Again, you don't have to go to a professional, and you don't have to think that because you're going to seek therapy, you're mad. No, you know, therapy is a natural thing. You can talk to anybody, family member, friend, somebody who you trust, even with yourself. And please don't hear when I tell you say you can talk to yourself, meaning that you're going mad. The best conversations that you will have is with yourself. Trust me,
Yeah.
nobody knows you better than how you know you. So don't fear to have conversations with yourself and resolve some things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because we as a nation, we go through a lot. And especially during our childhood moments, and you know, we fail to talk about it, and then it spill over in our marriages, in
Yes.
our relationships, you know, when a simple conversation could have just
Yeah.
eliminated all of that.
Yeah. Definitely.
Seek therapy.
I don't think we would have been touching a lot.
Yeah. I've been talking a
Yeah.
lot for you.
I mean, it was needed.
Trust me.
Yes.
Trust me.
Yeah. But I have two more questions for you.
Sure.
Yes. What? All right. So the first one,
Mhm.
what do you think the church can do to help not only Christian men, but Christians be more open to sharing their mental experience, their mental struggles? What do you think the church can do about that?
First thing, we would have to revisit how we see mental health, you know?
Yeah.
That would have to be revisited. And me personally, what I would do is have we have forums or panel talks for everything else but mental health. I've noted that, and I feel like more of these conversations in the church would go a long way. Like it's not a one and done thing. It's not a hit or miss. No, there has to be continued conversations, continued efforts to
Yeah.
talk about mental health, mental stability, and us spiritually and mentally on a whole as a conversation.
Yeah.
Because we know, again, I'm going to bring back to the point that we serve God with our minds. And without our minds being at that place where it needs to be, we cannot serve Him. So you see how the two come in contact.
Yeah.
So with your mind, you serve God. And if your mind is not at the place for it to process anything or whatever,
Yeah.
you cannot serve him in the way that you ought to serve him.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's where we as Christians need to go, you know, having these conversations, get persons from outside to come and educate us. You know, Miss Suzette, Miss Camille Buchanan, trust me, I love her her platform. Her way of advocating and bringing awareness for mental health is
Yeah.
something that we haven't seen in a while.
Man,
Trust
so
me,
true.
I haven't had the pleasure of meeting her yet, but I'm hoping one day that I can have a conversation with
Yeah.
her. Trust me.
Yeah.
But yes, we need to have more conversation where mental health is concerned in our churches.
Yes, definitely. Because what I think people don't realize sometimes,
Mhm.
not because we are Christians,
Mhm.
we are not exempted
No.
from the issues that people that we consider worldly face. It's just how we deal with those issues. We probably deal with it in a different manner, but we're not exempted because we say we're serving God. We're not going to go through certain things.
I want to hear a joke. Majority of persons who are going through mental health issues, not saying that they're going mad, but depressed, they're in the church. Why? Because they're going through. This is my favorite quote. We are not yet fully spirited beings.
Yeah.
We are not yet spirits, full spirits. We are flesh and blood. You see these things that we have on, they are bound to fail. And our churches has like make it seem like, hey, you got baptized, you put on Christ, you started your walk with Christ, you are not supposed to fail.
Yeah.
Not understanding that that's when majority of our failures starts.
Yeah.
You know? And I feel like because we strive to be perfect, not saying that we ought to be perfect, because holiness is right. But there are going to come times when we fall down on our walk. And because we are going through these situations or we're experiencing this and we have nobody to talk to because we have in the back of our minds that we are not supposed to be going through these things because we're Christians.
Yeah.
We are not supposed to be depressed. We are not supposed to have thoughts, thoughts about suicide, whatever. We are human beings and we are going to have these things affecting us. Again, revisiting the approach of having counselors coming into the church, speak with the young people.
Yes.
I don't even want to share the story, but recently I've heard of a young lady who nearly took her life and she had nobody to talk to. And we could have lost someone if she was not found in the state that she was. And then we ask, what is it that we're doing wrong? Or probably they blame the parents or, but not putting in place the different events or the different mediums to have these concern, addressed. And it comes back to, have these conversations, these tough conversations, bringing somebody, a specialist to come and talk to the church.
Yeah.
Because, as I said earlier, majority of persons inside the church, and I'm not talking about my church or a particular church, the church are struggling mentally.
Yeah.
And it boils over into the relationships, the marriages. A lot of marriages are in total disarray now.
All right.
It's because we have unresolved situations in their minds, and they walk around with it day by day saying, hey, I'm a Christian, so I'm good, without knowing that the more that you harbor those feelings or the more that you have these pent up feelings in your heart and in your mind, like there's going to come a day when it's going to all get loose and it's going to be a messy scene. So I always try to encourage my circle of friends to, you know, do something that will make you feel happy. Not every day you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
There are going to be days when you wake up and you feel like, hey, I'm out of it. That's completely fine.
Yeah.
There are going to be days when you feel like, hey, this not gonna work. That's completely fine. You know, have to put, like, you have to have a system. If it's a case where you yourself cannot encourage yourself, you have to have a system, a group of friends, a family member, somebody that can help you get over that feeling. Not every day you're going to be okay. And you cannot be okay every day. You're going to have bad days. I have bad days.
Yeah.
The pastor have bad days, but you have to have something to motivate you to push on. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why mental health are so much mental health cases and suicide has been happening. I remember last year, I believe, the young lady who took her life, I don't remember her name, beautiful young lady. She would have shared with her friends what she's going through mentally, and nobody took her seriously. Here we are today. She took her life. And I always, I try to be the clown of my friendship, try to bring laughter, try to bring, being that person where they can call whenever they are not feeling well or their best. Everybody, I would recommend to get a circle like that. Get friends, get family members, get people who know when you're not okay, even when you're smiling. A lot of times people, the modest people are the people where you see walk up and down a smile. Trust me. The people who are going through the most mentally are those who are smiling. They hide behind that facade to say, hey, I'm okay. When deep down they have unresolved situation. And you come back to the point where venting about your situation is paramount. I remember of a situation where I had a problem with, an individual. And I said, hey, I'm not going to address it, I'm not going to talk about it. Yet still, every time that person came around me, like, I started feeling a particular way. It was until I spoke to that person where I felt, all right, I felt like the issues just slowly disappeared. Nothing is wrong with talking things out. Nothing is wrong with seeking help when you cannot help yourself. Because not every day you're going to be strong. Are going to be strong enough to save yourself. So yes, get a gang, get a group, build a family that can help you to go through the different struggles that you'll be going through. Yes.
That's a handful.
It has been. It has been. It has been. It has been.
Right. So I think we would have covered enough. And I think this conversation needs to continue.
Trust
I don't
me.
think we can just complete this aspect of mental health in one recording.
No. Trust
You have
me,
to have a whole series.
It is. It is. It is. Because there are different layers of mental health that we can, really discuss about.
Yeah.
But until next time.
Right. It was a pleasure having you.
It was a pleasure being here. It was a pleasure being here.
Yes.
It was a pleasure being here.
Right. Thank you guys for watching. This has been another edition of the Christ Talk podcast where we have real conversations that will keep you grounded in Him. I am your host, Gerard, and I'll see you guys in the next one. You can sound off below what you think about this episode. If we should continue this conversation, let us know. And we're on a road to 100 subscribers. We're almost there. Just 5 more and we're there. And we definitely hope to keep growing.
Yes.
As I think God has given my team and myself this mandate.
Right.
Yes.
All the best.
Thank you.
And before I go, I just want to shout out my team from Ascendja. Maya, Rasheen, oh my god, they want to kid me, Raj, and everybody who would have supported me, Justin, just everybody who would have supported me. And if you haven't followed the pages yet, it's Ascendja, Ascendja on Instagram, on TikTok. You can see what we're over there doing.
Right?
Yes.
Right. We'll see you guys in the next one. God bless you.